a WikiVidi documentaries production. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Enjoy. United States Senate Elections, 2018. Elections to the United States Senate will be held November 6, 2018. With 33 of the 100 seats in the Senate being contested in regular elections and 2 seats being contested in special elections. The winners will serve 6-year terms from January 3, 2019, to January 3, 2025. Currently, Democrats have 26 seats up for election, including the seats of 2 independents who caucus with them. Republicans have 9 seats up for election. The seats up for regular election in 2018 were last up for election in 2012. In addition, special elections will be scheduled if vacancies occur, as has already happened in Minnesota and Mississippi. Other elections that will be held on this date include the elections to the U.S. House of Representatives, 39 governorships, as well as various other state and local elections. Republicans can only afford to have a net loss of 1 Senate seat and still have a working majority of 50 senators and Republican Vice President Mike Pence, who is able to cast a tie-breaking vote in accordance with Article 1 of the United States Constitution. 3 of the Republican seats are open as a result of retirements in Tennessee, Utah, and Arizona. Democrats are defending 10 seats in states won by Donald Trump in the 2016 presidential election, while Republicans are only defending 1 seat in a state won by Hillary Clinton in 2016, according to 538. Democrats face the most unfavorable Senate map in 2018 that any party has ever faced in any election. Focus on competitive races. Democrats are expected to target the Republican-held Senate seats in Arizona and Nevada. Democrats could also target seats in Texas, Mississippi, and Tennessee's open seat. Republicans are expected to target Democratic-held seats in Indiana, Missouri, Montana, North Dakota, and West Virginia, all of which voted for Mitt Romney in the 2012 presidential election, and Donald Trump in the 2016 presidential election, as well as seats in Florida, Ohio, Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, and Michigan, all of which voted for Donald Trump in the 2016 election. Other races may also become competitive closer to Election Day. Partisan composition. Among the 33 Class 1 Senate seats up for regular election in 2018 are 23 currently held by Democrats, 2 by independents who caucus with the Senate Democrats, and 8 by Republicans. The Class 2 seats in Minnesota and Mississippi held by interim appointees are also up for election. Both incumbent appointees are running in their elections to finish the unexpired terms. Special elections during the preceding Congress. In these special elections, the winners will be elected coincidingly with the other races of the 2018 Senate elections, but will be seated before January 3, 2019, when elected and qualified, ordered by election date, then by state, then by class. Arizona. One-term Republican Jeff Flake was elected with 49% of the vote in 2012. He has declared he will retire at the end of his term. U.S. Representative Martha Mosley won the Republican nomination in a 3-way primary on August 28, 2018, against Joe Arpaio and Kelly Ward. U.S. Representative Kyrsten Sinema easily secured the Democratic nomination. California. 4-term Democrat Dianne Feinstein won a special election in 1992 and was elected to full terms in 1994, 2000, 2006, and 2012. She is running for re-election and will advance to the general election after securing the top spot in the June 5 jungle primary. President pro tempore of the California State Senate Kevin DeLeon will advance to the general election after securing the second spot in the June 5 primary. Other Democratic candidates included community advocate Adrienne Nicole Edwards, Eugene Patterson Harris, David Hildebrand, Douglas Howard Pierce, and Allison Hartson. Republican candidates included Paul Allen Taylor. Derek Michael Reed ran with the Libertarian Party. Independent candidates included biologist Tim Gildersleeve, Lee W. Olson, and evangelist Ling Ling Shi. Delaware. Three-term Democrat Tom Carper won re-election with 66% of the vote in 2012. He announced he was running for re-election during an interview on MSNBC on July 24, 2017. He defeated Dover community activist Kerry Evelyn Harris for the Democratic nomination. Sussex County Councilman Robert Arlett won the Republican nomination. Florida. Three-term Democrat Bill Nelson was re-elected with 55% of the vote in 2012. He is seeking re-election to a fourth term in office. Florida Governor Rick Scott won the Republican nomination, first elected in 2010 and re-elected in 2014. Scott's term as governor of Florida is set to end by January 2019 due to term limits. Edward Yanofsky is running as an independent. Indiana. One-term Democrat Joe Donnelly was elected with 50.04% of the vote in 2012. He is running. He won the Democratic primary unopposed. State Representative Mike Braun won the May 8 Republican primary. U.S. Representatives Luke Messer and Todd Rokita also ran for the Republican nomination. James Johnson is running as an independent. Maine. One-term independent Senator Angus King was elected in a three-way race with 53% of the vote in 2012. King has caucused with the Democratic Party since taking office in 2013. But he has left open the possibility of caucusing with the Republican Party in the future. King is running. State Senator Eric Brakey ran unopposed for the Republican nomination. Public school teacher and founder of UClass Zach Ringelstein ran unopposed for the Democratic nomination. The election will be conducted with ranked choice voting, as opposed to first-past-the-post voting. After Maine voters passed a citizen referendum approving the change in 2016 and a June 2018 referendum sustaining the change. Maryland. Two-term Democrat Ben Cardin was re-elected with 56% of the vote in 2012. He won the Democratic primary. Tony Campbell, Evan Kronhart, Nabuiz, Gerald Smith, and Blaine Taylor were seeking the Republican nomination, with Campbell winning. Arvin Vohra, vice chairman of the Libertarian National Committee, is seeking the Libertarian Party nomination. Independents Neil Simon and Edward Schleichers are running. Massachusetts. One-term Democrat Elizabeth Warren was elected with 54% of the vote in 2012. She is running. State Representative Jeff Dale, attorney and founder of Better for America, John Kingston, former Romney aide Beth Lindstrom, are running for the Republican nomination. Shiva Ayyadurai is running as an independent. Shiva started as in early 2017 as the first Republican in the race, but went independent in November 2017. Michigan. Three-term Democrat Debbie Stabenow was re-elected with 59% of the vote in 2012. She was re-nominated without Democratic opposition. On the Republican side, businessman John James was nominated. Independent candidate Marcia Squire is also running. She ran as a Green Party candidate for in 2016. Minnesota. Two-term Democrat Al Franken announced that he would resign in December 2017, following allegations of sexual harassment. Mark Dayton, governor of Minnesota, appointed Lieutenant Governor Tina Smith on January 2, 2018, as an interim senator until the November 2018 election. She defeated primary challenger Richard Painter in the Democratic primary held on August 14. Incumbent Tina Smith is running against Republican Karen Housley in the general election for a full term ending January 3, 2021. Mississippi. One-term Republican Roger Wicker won re-election with 57% of the vote in 2012. He was appointed in 2007 and won a special election in 2008 to serve the remainder of Trent Lott's term. He is running. David Barria won the Democratic nomination in a runoff on June 26. Mississippi. Seven-term Republican Thad Cochran, who won re-election with 59.9% of the vote in 2014, announced that he would resign April 1, 2018 due to health reasons. Phil Bryant, governor of Mississippi, announced on March 21, 2018, that he would appoint Mississippi Agriculture Commissioner Cindy Hyde-Smith to fill the vacancy. She will be running in the special election. Former United States Secretary of Agriculture and member of the U.S. House of Representatives from Mississippi's 2nd Congressional District Micah Spy and Toby Barty are running as Democratic candidates. Republican Chris McDaniel is also running. Missouri. Two-term Democrat Claire McCaskill was re-elected with 55% of the vote in 2012. She was renominated. Attorney General Josh Hawley won the Republican nomination. J. Fifth Campbell has declared his candidacy for the Libertarian nomination. Montana. Two-term Democrat John Tester was re-elected with 49% of the vote in 2012. He won the Democratic nomination in the June 5 primary with no opposition. State Auditor Matthew Rosendale won the Republican nomination in the June 5 primary. State Senator Albert Olefsky, former Judge Russell Fagg, and Troy Downing also ran for the Republican nomination. Nebraska. One-term Republican Deb Fischer was elected with 58% of the vote in 2012. She ran for and won the Republican nomination in the May 15 primary. Other Republicans who ran include retired Professor Jack Heidel, Todd Watson, and Dennis Frank Masick. Lincoln Councilwoman Jane Raybould ran for and won the Democratic nomination in the May 15 primary. Other Democrats who ran include Frank Svoboda, Chris Yanicek, and Larry Marvin, who was a candidate in 2008, 2012, and 2014. Jim Schultz is running for the Libertarian nomination. Nevada. Incumbent Republican Dean Heller is the Republican nominee. He was appointed to the seat in 2011 and then elected with 46% of the vote in 2012. Heller considered running for governor, but chose to seek re-election. Nevada is the only state in the midterm elections that has an incumbent Republican senator in a state that Hillary Clinton won in 2016. Representative Jackie Rosen is the Democratic nominee. New Mexico. One-term Democrat Martin Heinrich was elected with 51% of the vote in 2012. He is running. Mick Rich won the Republican nomination unopposed. Aubrey Dunn Jr., New Mexico Commissioner of Public Lands, and otherwise the first Libertarian to ever hold statewide elected office in history, announced his run for the seat, but stepped aside in August to allow former Governor of New Mexico, Gary Johnson's candidacy. New York. One-term Democrat Kirsten Gillibrand was elected with 72% of the vote in 2012. She had previously been appointed to the seat in 2009 and won a special election to remain in office in 2010. She is running. Private equity executive Shelkia Varchi-Farley has been nominated for U.S. Senate by the Republican and Conservative parties. North Dakota. One-term Democrat Heidi Heitkamp was elected with 50% of the vote in 2012. She won the Democratic nomination unopposed. Representative Kevin Cramer won the Republican nomination in the June 12 primary. Former Niagara, North Dakota Mayor Thomas O'Neill also ran for the Republican nomination. Ohio. Two-term Democrat Sherrod Brown was re-elected with 51% of the vote in 2012. He is running and was unopposed in Democratic primary. U.S. Representative Jim Renaxi ran for and won the Republican nomination in the May 8 primary. Other Republicans who ran include investment banker Michael Gibbons, businesswoman Melissa Atkinson, Dan Kiley, and Don Elijah Eckhart. Pennsylvania. Two-term Democrat Bob Casey Jr. was re-elected with 54% of the vote in 2012. He is running and won the Democratic primary unopposed. U.S. Representative Lou Barletta ran for and won the Republican nomination in the May 15 primary. Jim Christiana also ran for the Republican nomination. Tennessee. Two-term Republican Bob Corker was re-elected with 65% of the vote in 2012. Senator Corker filed his statement of candidacy with the Secretary of the U.S. Senate to run for re-election, but on September 26, 2017, Senator Corker announced his intent to retire. Aaron Pettigrew and Republican U.S. Representative Marsha Blackburn ran for the Republican nomination. Marsha Blackburn is the Republican nominee. Former Tennessee Governor Phil Bredesen is the Democratic nominee. Texas. One-term Republican Ted Cruz was elected with 57% of the vote in 2012. He overwhelmingly won the Republican primary on March 6, 2018. Television producer Bruce Jacobson, Houston Energy attorney Stefano DeStefano, former mayor of La Marque Geraldine Sam, Mary Miller, and Thomas Dillingham were Cruz's opponents. U.S. Representative Beto O'Rourke won the Democratic nomination on March 6, 2018. Other Democrats who ran include Erasmo Ramirez Hernandez and Edward Kimbrough. Nurse Carl Bible ran as an independent. Bob McNeil ran with the American Citizen Party. Brought to you by WikiVidi Documentaries. Would you like to know more?